I don't know how to make this video without immediately getting accused of infighting or being a troublemaker or jeopardizing Democrats' ability to win in the midterms, but newsflash, y'all, Democrats are jeopardizing their own ability to win in the midterms, and it's so discouraging. It's so discouraging, and I don't mean to bring us all down, but I want to talk about it, and then obviously there will be a call to action at the end, because at the end of the day, it's not our elected officials who have the power, it's all of us. I almost don't even know where to begin, because so many Democratic establishment politicians are making all of the wrong moves, although maybe all of the moves consistent with who they've been all along. Democrats seem like they are willfully committed to snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. We saw Hakeem Jeffries have this secret meeting with Jared Kushner and then afterward handle it very, very poorly in a video that he put out and then interviews that he engaged in.
What was the specific objective of this meeting you had with Jared Kushner in New York?
As we've repeatedly indicated as House Democrats from the beginning of this Congress, we're committed to pushing back against the extremism that has been unleashed on the American people every day, every week, every month, year after year, until we can end this national nightmare. At the same period of time, of course, we have a responsibility to solve problems. And sometimes that means meeting with people on the other side of the aisle to figure out what the opportunities will be in order to address the things that the American people definitively want us to address. The reality that the cost of living in this country is way too high. We've got to address that affordability crisis, which is not a hoax.
So did you accomplish anything specific during this meeting with Kushner?
No, it was just a high-level, topical conversation, particularly focused on affordability, as well as the housing bill that ultimately became law.
Okay, don't even get me started on how that homeownership bill did not really benefit American home buyers. It benefited the Realtors Association and home builders, right? That's who benefited from that bill. It was not the big victory that Democrats tried to make it seem like it was. It was very much a nothing burger in many regards. But Hakeem Jeffries says he's having this meeting with Jared Kushner, not a member of the government, but Donald Trump's son-in-law, but also Bibi Netanyahu's close friend, and that they're talking about affordability. Affordability. He's talking to a billionaire about affordability, a billionaire fascist about affordability. He says that this is the will of the constituents. He's trying to help the American people and get us what we want. Meanwhile, in the same week, he's talking about how he doesn't support Medicare for all, even though a majority of Americans support it and a huge majority of Democrats support it. He doesn't support abolishing ICE, even though a majority of Americans support abolishing ICE. And overwhelmingly, Democrats support abolishing ICE. We see the Democratic establishment not listening to what the voters want. And I think we've really reached this tipping point where it's so obvious to all of us that mainstream corporate Democrats are doing the will of corporations and also foreign governments, and they have no desire to listen to their constituents at all. And speaking of Democratic leadership not representing the will of their constituents, a majority of Americans do not want our taxpayer dollars to be sent to Israel to fund Bibi Netanyahu's genocide against Palestinians. A majority of Americans from both parties, but overwhelmingly from Democrats, it's like 75%, do not want our tax dollars to fund what Israel is doing in Palestine, what Israel is doing in Lebanon. We don't support the genocidal apartheid state of Israel. But you know who does? Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. You know who does? Like 80% of Democrats and like 100% of Republicans, except for Thomas Massie. So when you have the two leaders of the Democratic Party in Congress in the pocket of AIPAC, even though overwhelmingly the constituents don't support AIPAC, want AIPAC out of our politics, want AIPAC out of the federal government, out of every layer of government, right? AIPAC has their grubby little fingers in every layer of American politics. The American voters don't want that, and we don't want our taxpayer dollars going over to Israel. And in a moment of what I would call stunning betrayal and also a complete inability to read the room and take the temperature of your constituents, or a complete disregard for the desire, the will of your constituents, a clear representation that they work for foreign governments and corporations and not us. This week, we saw Democratic leadership appoint 3 staunchly pro-AIPAC Democrats to oversee Congress's involvement in Middle East politics. So The Guardian had a piece out about this yesterday, and I was pulling my hair out about it on social media. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Wesley Bell, and Jared Moskowitz are now on the House subcommittee for the Middle East and Africa, basically setting our policy and our relationship with Israel and Middle East politics. 3 staunchly pro-AIPAC in the pocket of Israel Democrats have been appointed to this committee. Even though a vast majority of Democratic voters want AIPAC out of our government and don't want our taxpayer dollars going to support Israel, 3 pro-Israel members of the Democratic Party were appointed to a committee where they will use our tax dollars to fund Israel's genocide, where they will craft policy, create a posture that is very friendly to Israel. This is a good time to remind all of us that we, the people, have the power. We have the most ability to enact the most change on a hyper-local level, that the power resides with the people, and that the choices we make in our communities, in our congressional districts, have ripple effects that impact everything that happens in the United States and globally. We re-elect members of the House every 2 years, and Democratic voters in Florida and in Missouri had a chance to not push Jared Moskowitz, notoriously corrupt Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and Wesley Bell through in their primaries. Wesley Bell beat out Cori Bush, right? In all 3 of these instances, right? Jared Moskowitz beat out Oliver Larkin. Pro-AIPAC, pro-Israel Democrats who take tons of corporate and dark money and foreign money won their primaries when the other folks on the ticket would have represented the people. Our choices have consequences. Your vote matters an awful lot, because now those 3 folks winning their primaries means they control so much of what the Democratic Party does and says about how they use our tax dollars and how we as a nation relate to Israel and all of the conflict and all of the harm that is happening in the Middle East. So in a moment when voters are understanding, becoming aware of the fact that we deserve better from our elected officials, we deserve representation in Congress, corporate Democrats are just shouting from the rooftops, we don't give a fuck about you guys and what you want. We don't care. We don't care where your heart is. We don't care where your policy positions lie. We will do whatever we want, and what we will do is support corporations, and we will support AIPAC. And Democratic leadership is just fucking playing in our faces. Hakeem Jeffries being like, I'm taking these meetings for you guys because affordability is what you care about. Well, they don't listen when we tell them the things that we actually do care about. It's so insulting to have Democratic leadership say, oh, as long as we get grocery prices down, as long as we get rent prices down, then Americans are so selfish that they'll stop caring about the genocide in Gaza. They'll stop caring about, corruption in government and corporations running everything. It's so insulting. Likewise, and this just absolutely almost breaks me, there was this video that was filmed where Congressman Jamie Raskin was giving a speech, and protesters stood up and said, what is your position on Gaza? And Jamie is a pro-AIPAC Democrat, even though I think he's done a lot of good for democracy. Where is the line? Where ultimately are these members of Congress's loyalties lying? It's heartbreaking and galling and offensive to hear an elected official claim that when their constituents come to them outraged, heartbroken over our taxpayer dollars going to fund a genocide, that it must not be our sincere belief. It must not be a sincere position at all, that instead it must be COINTELPRO. We must be closeted Republicans who are manufacturing this kind of conflict in order to scuttle Democrats' chances of winning in the midterms.
No problem. Please leave. Do not touch me or I will grab you. Please leave.
Jamie Raskin, why are we having a fundraiser for all of the Colorado Congress members taking money from AIPAC and other Israeli lobbies? Listen to me, no. The word is genocide. They won't say the word because they don't believe it's genocide. Do you believe it's genocide, Jamie? Do you believe it's genocide? Because I believe it's genocide.
Do you care about the healthcare workers in Gaza that are being genocided? Do you care? Do you care about healthcare workers? Do you care about them?
About the COVID program. You didn't organize this dinner. It was organized by the brave Democrats of Jefferson County.
What about the genocide in Gaza? What about the genocide in Gaza?
The genocide is ongoing today and every single day. It's happening. My friend, your friend, Brittany Patterson, do you know what she did?
And be arrested for trespassing at this point in time.
I'm sorry.
You're no longer welcome. You can be arrested for trespassing.
Don't touch me. I am not trespassing. I paid $200 just as everybody else. And he knows.
Right, because our tax dollars are paying for the genocide. Killing babies.
Ma'am, you've been asked to leave. At this point in time, you can be charged with trespassing.
I understand.
Okay. Go ahead and head towards the door, please.
Can you answer before we leave?
Please leave. Please leave.
Please leave.
You're not winning any friends.
We'll call law enforcement if you guys do not leave, please. You guys are trespassing, no problem. Please leave.
It makes me so mad to hear Jamie Raskin regurgitating blue MAGA talking points, right? I think the takeaway for us as voters is that we're in this period of growth and change in the Democratic Party. We're watching a takeover happen in real time so that we, the voters, can have a Democratic Party that works for us instead of foreign governments and big corporations. And so you will see those folks who are still funded by all of that dark money, who are clinging on to power, but their days are numbered. I know we want this progressive wave to instantaneously take over the Democratic Party, but change, unfortunately, in our politics happens much more slowly than that. We have to stay the course. We have to keep organizing. These folks, their days in power are numbered. The progressive takeover of the Democratic Party will continue to happen as long as we keep working for it. It's up to us to get that change. We're not surrendering the Democratic Party to these folks. Keep organizing.